Hello everyone. Do you dare to challenge the 10 most dangerous jobs in the world? You can earn $1 million just by lying down for a year. You have to sign a life and death agreement. You should not be a winner in life. You will lose both your life and money. With a monthly income of 3,000 yuan, do you dare to try? Next, in this issue of Gigafactory, we will take you to explore the 10 most dangerous jobs in the world. Please press and hold to like, comment and subscribe. Compared to ordinary manual workers, oil drillers have an average annual salary of more than 100,000 US dollars. And the longer they work, the higher their salary. But behind this enviable salary are risks. Every year, unfortunately, some oil rig workers die due to work accidents. Not only do they have to work in an environment full of flammable liquids and gases, but due to the special nature of the job, workers often have to be away from their families, traveling alone to the desert or deep sea to work alone with a group of colleagues from all over the world. And according to data from the U.S. Health Administration, from 2003 to 2017 alone, the number of deaths in this field was 7 times higher than other industries in the United States, especially offshore oil rigs. There are some platforms built in the sea with a depth of thousands of meters. In this working environment, every day is really scary, because they are surrounded by extremely flammable liquids. Even the smallest spark can cause a fire. And in a place surrounded by the sea, there is nowhere to run if you want to. Signal tower maintenance workers are also known as aviation technicians or others. This is a job that specializes in the maintenance and installation of radio signal towers. If it is necessary to inspect and repair the lines and lighting equipment on some tall towers, the height of these signal towers is often more than a few hundred meters. The tallest of these signal towers is more than 600 meters high. There are usually aviation warning lights installed on the top of the signal tower to warn low-flying aircraft to stay away from the signal tower, in case they crash into the signal tower. When these warning lights are broken or some of the lines have problems, someone needs to climb up and repair them with their bare hands. They not only have to overcome their psychological fear, but also have to carry the necessary toolkits for repair, which also poses a great test to the physical ability of the phobic person. If Ligia climbed halfway, she would probably hit her head and die even with a safety rope. Of course, the greater the risk, the greater the reward. A tower climber in the US who changes light bulbs can get paid $20,000 a time. She only needs to climb a signal tower twice a year to change light bulbs and receive $40,000. Sulfur miners in Java, Indonesia work in some of the harshest conditions in the world. They risk their lives every day, breathing in toxic gases in the crater for 12 hours, breaking down solidified sulfur and transporting it out of the volcano, and their daily income is just £3. There is a special type of magma on the Kawah Ijen volcano in Java, Indonesia. It is a type of blue lava which is shocking to see at night. The reason why there is blue magma is because there is a large amount of high-purity magma on the ground nearby. When this material is burned by magma, it will turn blue. Sulfur miners have to risk magma eruptions at any time to mine sulfur or in this place. Not only is there magma, but there is also a large amount of toxic gas, most of which have very high concentrations of hydrogen sulfide and sulfur dioxide. Because their income is so low, they cannot even afford to buy masks, and can only cover their mouths and noses with wet towels because of long-term exposure to toxic gases. Therefore, the average life expectancy of these workers is no more than 30. Matador. I believe everyone has heard of matador. This is an extremely dangerous profession. Most of the bulls in the bullfighting arena are North African bulls with violent nature. They are bred by special trainers and have very fiery and fierce personalities. When a matador enters the arena, he can be thrown away by the 500 kilograms aggressive bull at any time or stabbed by the horns. In general, very few people who are stabbed by the horns of a bull can survive. In 2016, a very young matador was stabbed in the head by a bull. He was then thrown into the air and died instantly. Over the past 3 centuries, up to 500 matadors have died in this sport. Some were stabbed in the brain, some were stabbed in the chest, some were trampled to death, so this is definitely a very dangerous job. Of course, if the bullfight is successful, the matador will also receive a very generous compensation. Their salary for a performance is basically around 10,000 US dollars. For example, the top bullfighters in Spain can receive $1 million US dollars for a performance. How dangerous is the job of a firefighter who earns 5,000 yuan a month? We've all heard of golf, But this may be the first time many people have heard of golf diving. Especially when you know that this profession can earn you an annual salary of $150,000. Would you be more interested in it? As the name suggests, golf divers put on scuba gear and go into swimming pools to retrieve dropped golf balls. Tens of thousands of golf balls are hit into the water at golf courses around the world every year. They don't have any work, but the job isn't without risks. After all, not all underwater creatures are friendly to humans. A man was once killed by a crocodile while retrieving a golf ball in Kruger National Park in South Africa. The crocodile may never have known that the man was just trying to retrieve his golf ball and was not hostile. High-rise window cleaner. High-rise window cleaners, as the name suggests, are used to clean the exterior glass and walls of high-rise buildings. Because they have to hang outside the building, they are also called Spider-Man. If you want to do this kind of work, you must first not be afraid of heights and also need a lot of courage. Needless to say, they must not make any mistakes when working, otherwise they may be in danger. Before starting work, they must carefully take safety precautions and check carefully before starting work. Because if they accidentally slip and fall, they can basically start their business directly. The most fearful thing about this job is bad weather, because they cannot clean all the time. All of this is planned in advance. If it is windy that day, you will have to consider yourself unlucky. Fortunately, this kind of work occurs all over the world and there are not many people who fall to the ground and die. But that doesn't stop the job from being terrifying. Most people's legs will probably feel weak even before they're airborne. Fires happen every day and people are trapped all over the world. At this time, firefighters are needed to rescue and extinguish the fire. If there is a fire, they must enter the scene of the fire as soon as possible to protect people's lives and property. In emergency cases such as jumping from a building, firefighters must transform into angels in white. In some disasters, the number of rescuers who die is often greater than the number of people saved because firefighters often swim against the current. Every firefighter clearly understands the dangers and responsibilities they will face, but they still rush in first regardless of their own safety and complete all tasks. According to statistics, for every 100,000 fires, 2.3 firefighters die. They always swim against the current. The lives of the masses are more important than their own lives. Among them, the 2015 Tianjin 812 fire killed 165 people, including more than 100 firefighters. Firefighters are respected, but the dangers they endure are not proportional to their rewards. Bravo, firefighters! It's the most dangerous and highest paid job in the world. Next, let's look at the third place in the top 10 most dangerous jobs in the world. Coal miner. Coal mining is one of the most dangerous jobs in any country. According to statistics, tens of thousands of people die in mining accidents around the world every year. Since 1900, more than 100,000 people have died in mining accidents in the United States alone, and the death toll worldwide is expected to be even higher. The main reason why this job is so dangerous is because of mine collapses, gas explosions, gas poisoning, etc. In these mines where you can't even see where you are, a large amount of methane gas accumulates, and this gas will explode when exposed to a source of fire. If an accident occurs in this environment, there is basically no way to survive. Not only that, due to long-term coal mining, these workers have inhaled a large amount of toxic substances into their bodies, making them susceptible to chronic lung disease that will shorten their life expectancy. Once you have this lung disease, you can only rely on medical equipment to maintain your life. This type of work is extremely dangerous whether in the long run or in the short run, and it is simply a matter of exchanging life for money. Lumberjack. You may think that lumberjacks are not that dangerous. Most people underestimate the dangers of logging, but this job is much more dangerous than you think. The average annual salary of a logger is more than $120,000, which is a really good income for the average family. But this job is also very dangerous, even called a widowmaker. In the United States, the mortality rate of loggers is as high as 0.09%, which may not sound high, but the mortality rate of the average worker is 30 times higher. Even higher than the military. It is not an exaggeration to say that logging is one of the most dangerous jobs in America. The tool in the hands of a lumberjack is called a lianjiu. The moment the lianjiu is opened, the danger begins. Imagine what would happen if a tool that can cut trees came into contact with a person. Scary to think about. Also, logging is not easy. It's high-intensity work and you have to be on the lookout for debris and falling branches. Having said that, loggers also have to focus on avoiding falling trees. Any carelessness can lead to accidents. Also, most of the places where loggers work are barren mountains or places with very harsh environments. In some places, people can freeze to death and sparks from chainsaws can also start fires. The first place is the Alaskan crab fisherman. Surely everyone has eaten king crab. But did you know that king crab fisherman is one of the highest paid and most dangerous jobs in the world? According to statistics, an adult and tireless can earn $100,000 in 5 days at sea, equivalent to about 750,000 renminbi. That is, on average, he can earn 100,000 per day. However, extremely high rewards often come with extremely high risks. The mortality rate of those who despise is 20 times higher than that of ordinary jobs. On average, one person dies every 7 days. In order to avoid catching the giant and juicy king crab, the ship needs to go to the Bering Strait, where the climate is unpredictable, and use a giant crab weighing more than 700 kilograms to catch crabs in the deep sea. Crab fishermen not only have to fight against strong winds and waves, but also endure temperatures of -10 degrees Celsius, working continuously for more than 10 hours in this extremely harsh environment. In addition, the large iron cage carries an extremely large limit that can deal you a fatal blow at any time along with big waves. In a place like this, you will be hit by waves at any time. If you fall into the sea, there is basically no chance of survival.